On today's show, we're going to DIY a dry box using parts from IKEA, and it ain't even going to cost you a lot of money. Hey gang, welcome to the First Layer. My name's Richard Cleveland. I'm your host here every Wednesday and live stream Saturday night. This is the show that explores the world of 3D printing, everything from news, reviews, how-tos, and today is no different. If you're new here, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Also smash that bell so you get notified every time we put up a brand new episode. So today, I'm making a dry box. What's a dry box, you might ask? Well, it is a container that holds your filament and keeps it dry so it doesn't absorb too much moisture over time, and it's always ready for you to use. We're going to use some really simple parts today. This couldn't be easier. We need a drill, we need some drill bits, we need a little bit of printed parts, and we're going to talk about those printed parts right now. The first and foremost, what you want to start with is the Samla box, which is the clear box that we have here now. And we're just going to switch over to that. You can find these at IKEA. They're called the Samla box. This is the 22 liter that we're using. It's not a very big box, but it'll hold up to 5 rolls of 1 kilogram filament. I've only got 4 in mine, but so go and check out IKEA, whether you're in Canada, the US, or overseas. And this box will be the one that you need. And you're also going to need the Samla lid, which is probably going to set you back another couple of bucks. Or I think you can buy them as a combo unit as well for around $7. So it's not too expensive or hard on your pocketbook. Next, you're going to need some clips. Now, these are the clips that I downloaded. These are the best Samla clips out there. They are done by Wookbert, and I like these because they work really, really well. You print them out and you just clip them on top and they hold everything down. So once you've got these, go check them out on Thingiverse. Again, I'll leave links to all of this stuff down below in the description so you'll be able to find it. Now, the next thing you're going to need is the Samla Quick Change setup, and this is by Churley. I hope that I said that right. Churtle. It's Churtle on Thingiverse. Go and check this out. This is thing number 2873244. Again, we'll leave links to this down in the description below. We've done a couple of things differently than what he's done here. He says to use threaded rod. We didn't have any, so I had some old pieces of 8mm straight rod, and that's what we're using for the demo today. We're also going to use some bearings, and the bearings that we are using are 688 flange bearings. And we'll just go over to this camera here. Should be able to see them. There we go. So we're going to use 688 flange bearings. That's what these ones are. You're going to need probably about 14 to 16 of them. So get yourself some extras. You can buy them in packs of 10. Again, we'll leave links to where you can find these online. You are also going to need some of these. These are, well, we call them Bowden Connectors, but they are just a pneumatic fitting that you'll put your Bowden hose into, and then we are going to thread these into our dry box. So you're going to need 4 or 5 of these depending on how many rolls of filament you want to put in your dry box. You're also going to need some good quality glue, and we are using the JB Weld plastic bonder. Maybe I can get it. There we go. The plastic bonder from JB Weld. This is the tan. It doesn't matter what color you use. You can use clear, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's only going to hold filament. It's nothing special. And that's all you're going to need for tools. So once you've got all of your tools assembled, make sure that you have yourself a drill. You're going to want to measure down on the front of this box to find out where you're going to put your holes. I'm only going to put 4 holes in here because I only think I need 4 rolls of filament at any given time. The nice thing about this system is the way that it works. And down here, you'll see that we've got some of these little standoffs. They all have bearings on them. They run on this smooth rod that I've got here. And the idea is that these are done in 2 different sizes. And I've got some here on the table. I'll show you what I mean. I'll just use a side camera. You can see that they come in 2 different lengths. Let's see if I can focus. There we go. They come in 2 different lengths. And the longer ones, or this one here, the longer one, is for the outside of the SAMLA box, closest to the corner. The shorter ones are for the indent that is on the front of the box. It pushes in a little bit. So these actually fit really, really well. And if you want to, you can just add a little bit of glue to them and glue them into place. I'm not going to bother. Just because, you know, I like to be able to move them around. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how this all went together. There's a couple of pieces that you're going to have to print off. I'm going to go back to my computer screen because I want to show you this. There is a left and a right piece that looks like this. You're going to need a total of 2 rights and 2 lefts. And that's what your rod is going to sit on. The rod is going to be roughly about 13¼ inches long. And then all you simply do is take some of your JB Weld, take the bottom, glue the bottoms down into the corners on your box. Let's go back to that shot and I'll show you what I mean. Down here, you're just going to put a little bit of JB Weld down here. It's 5-minute epoxy, or 15-minute in this case. It's 15-minute epoxy. Just all you're going to do is just put it down there, stick these down, get them set up the way that you need them, and go ahead and drop your rod in. Now, these little clips, the one thing I'm not a big fan of when it comes to these little clips is that you could lose them pretty easily. So make yourself extra, put them in a bag. They just snap on. The other thing that you're going to want to do, which I didn't have time to do, but in order to make this a little bit more airtight, is you're going to want to take the lid and get yourself some weather stripping. And just, you can buy weather stripping just about anywhere at any hardware store. And just put it all the way around this lip right here, facing down. So when you go to put this on and you take your clip and you mount your clip in, it's going to lock it into place and keep it sealed, so no moisture gets in there. Now you could go one step further, of course, and put yourself a little hydrometer on here somewhere if you wanted to make sure that you've got the proper amount of moisture or non-moisture in this case. So I'm going to take out these rolls of filament. The nice thing about this is because it is adjustable, you can actually put 2 kilogram rolls in here, 1 kilogram rolls in here, ½ kilogram rolls in here, 3/4 kilogram rolls. It doesn't matter because you can move these around wherever you want. And that's the beauty of this system. Now I'm using the doubles in the center and I'm using some singles on the outside. The only reason I'm doing that is just because I'm only going to use 4 and I'm not going to move them around too much. I may end up gluing these into place at some point in time, but for right now, let's figure out how many holes we need. We need 4 holes, so we're going to go ahead and set our drill up. And we'll find the right bit. Now, these have a pass-through, so I can actually put Bowden tube all the way into the box, which is kind of convenient. And these have a locking mechanism on them. I'm just going to change mine to drill. Now, this is a pretty heavy-duty drill. I don't think I need something this heavy. I'm just going to grab a 5mm drill bit, and in Canada we use millimeters. In the States you guys use imperial, which is inches. Now you could go ahead and do a pilot hole first, or you could just freehand it like I'm going to do. And I'm going to say that's where I want my first hole. And because I have this nice little setup here. That's where I'm going to say I want my first hole, right underneath that one right there. Now don't drill through your finger, just go slow. And don't burn the plastic. And just slowly let it go through. Take a look at it. Of course, we should have gone with a smaller hole first. And I probably should have something behind that. I'm going to go grab a piece of wood just so I can put it behind there and not get any blowout on the plastic. I'll be right back. All right, so I got a little, well, not a little piece of wood. I found what I could find. So let's finish drilling into this. And we don't want to blow out the backside. And now we're going to pull that out of there. Toss that down here for a second. And let's see how our little fitting fits in there. Now that's a little bit small, so we should probably go up one bit. So let's go to I know it's a 6 mil hole, but if I go 6 mils, it's going to be too loose in there. So I'm going to just use this one. Just open it up a bit. There we go. And now this fitting should go right in there. A little bit of pressure. You should be able to hand turn it in. Look at that. Now if you get yourself a little wrench, you should be able to screw that right in and it'll bite into the threads. And now tighten that right down. And look at that. Now we've got our first little coupling right on the front. Now we're going to do another one. Say right about there. That looks about right. I'm going to continue to drill these holes. I'll show you what I mean about putting in all of the couplings, and then we will go ahead and show you how this thing all wraps up. It's not a very long episode today. It's pretty simple. All right, so we went ahead and installed all of our couplings. And again, I will link to these down below in the description. We went and got ourselves 4 lengths, equal lengths of Bowden tube. Now these are all 1/2 meter ones. So they'll work out just fine for what we want. We've got ourselves a desiccant or moisture indicator that we're just going to slide into the box that we can utilize. Give us an indication. Now with your filament, you always get these little desiccant gel packs, or they're silica gel. Don't eat them because they're not candy. But you can take them and throw them into your dry box just like that. Put your Bowden tube in, and it should pass through a little bit. There you go. So you can see we got a little bit, about 2 inches hanging out on the inside. We'll do that to all of them. There we go. About 2 inches all the way down. And once we get them all in here, we'll start to load in some filament. Now I will be adding the extra weather stripping to this. This is a little bit longer, or yeah, it's just a little bit more than what I need. So I want to make sure that this is nice and sealed. So once you've got that all done, we can start to load up some filament. Let's see what we got here. We've got some TPU or TPE 90. We're going to start with that one. And we'll pop that in. Let's kind of align these to where we want them. Need this one over here. There we go. So it's on all 4 of them. And now we can take our TPU, or any filament for that matter, and just kind of push it down through that line. We'll just find the line that we're using so we know which one it's going to come out on. And there we are. So now we've got that nice and set up, and you see how easily that rolls in there. Now all we have to do is continue to load with all of our filaments, and then we're all set to go to make this our new dry box. Now you can use this with any of your printers. You can certainly go ahead and put this behind your printers, put it up on a shelf. You'll have some, if you decide to go longer Bowden tubes, you can actually run these tubes all the way to your individual printers, change them around as you need them. I'm probably going to make a little shelf for this and put it up back here where I use some of my printers, so I have access to all of my filaments. And that's all there is to making your own dry box. Total cost for this thing was less than $20. So that's not bad, including the filament that we used to print all the parts that we needed. So right around 20 bucks, you've got yourself a nice little dry box, and you can do whatever you need to do with it, and you can put all of the plastics in it that you need. So this would be great if you're using nylon quite a bit. It would be great if you're using TPU. Also, if you're using PETG, anything that really is a little more hygroscopic than other materials. PLA you could put in here so you don't have to bag it every time. So this is a really nice, simple, cost-effective way to store your filaments, and also for the ones that you use all the time and keep them nice and dry. So let's put it all together. We'll come back. We'll show you exactly what it looks like at the end with all the fancy stuff on top, and then we'll go from there. All right, so you can see we've got it all put together now. We've got a little desiccant indicator or moisture indicator in there. We've got our Bowden tube set up. We're pretty much ready to mount this onto a shelf above our 3D printer so we have access to the materials we use the most. You can see that down on the end here, it might be a little tougher to see. This is only a half roll, so that's a 500 gram roll. So you can see that by leaving these free to move around, you can put any size roll in there that you want. Again, whether it be a 50 gram roll, a 750 gram roll, 1 kg or 2 kg, this will fit them all. And depending on how many outlets you want, 4 is more than enough for me. That's about all the colors I really use anyway at any given time. 4 different materials is also good. So what you may find over time is that if you leave the material sticking out like this over time, this part of it may get a little bit brittle. And that's only because this part of it being exposed to the air is absorbing moisture. So at some point in time, you may just want to open up your box and just push it through a little bit, which will work out just fine as well. Now, again, this was less than $20 to put together, or right around that $20 mark. All of the stuff that we used to build this is available on Thingiverse. They're all 3D prints. You're just going to need yourself some bearings, a box, some rod, some couplings, and some Bowden tube, and that's pretty much all you're going to need. And the Samla box, again, like I said, it's from IKEA. It's really inexpensive. I got inspired to do this by a young man who came into Spool 3D one day, and he brought me in the box because he built one of these, and I kind of quizzed him a little bit on where he got the design and see if he had made up his design. Parts of it he had done himself. Clips like this he got off of Thingiverse. Again, I like these clips. They work great. If you put a little bit of weather stripping around here, it will really make a difference in terms of sealing the box up, which I'm going to do at a later date. I didn't have any on hand, so a little bit of weather stripping. You may even have some in your garage, or your parents may have some as well. So inexpensive, keeps your filament nice and dry and ready for your next use. So I got a few people to thank. Jess is behind the controls today. There she is. Yay! And then, of course, Brian Baker and my lovely wife, Jerry, who are also here today. They've been putting me through my paces. Also want to thank Spool 3D. They've got everything that you need, from parts and accessories to filaments and printers as well. So check them out today at spool3d.ca. Again, if you're not subscribed to this channel, you should be. So go down and hit that subscribe button. Also ding that bell so you get notified every time that we do a brand new episode. Sometimes we have giveaways, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just do special live streams. Like we do a live stream every Saturday night. We, sit back, relax, talk about some 3D printing, and we answer your questions live. Usually Brian and I are together. Sometimes it's him, sometimes it's just me. But we are there to answer your questions. There's surely something new that we found in the world of 3D printing and spark a discussion about it. You can check us out on Facebook as well. If you want to get some of this fabulous merch like I am wearing today, you can go ahead and check out the link down below. We have a link to our Teespring merch, so you can go ahead and get yourself a t-shirt, a mug, a hoodie, a long sleeve shirt, whatever you need. And we are going to be expanding some of the colors as well, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Normally we just do purple and dark gray, but we've had some requests for black and whites, and we'll cross those bridges shortly and get a few more colors in there and maybe a few more styles as well. So if you want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. On our live streams, if you want to support the channel, we always have Super Chat turned on. So that's kind of how we support ourselves around here. And right now we are in the throes of putting together a budget to go to Shenzhen next year in China to visit some of our friends. We want to visit, of course, the Creality offices, as well as Arion, Wanhao, and maybe the Anycubic warehouses and facilities while we're out there. So until next time, my friends, please remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. See you then.